For those of you that are just joining us, about 2 weeks ago I bought a sailboat. It's a 1974 Columbia 45. As you can see behind me, it's not in very good condition. This is a pretty good example of what a lot of the boat looks like. What I've been doing so far is cleaning out the boat. There was a lot of trash. I got a lot of it out of the way. There's still a lot left. My main priority right now is just to get the motor running, because I have this mooring for about another 11 days and then I'm not 100% sure where I'm going. I don't know if I'm going to get another mooring ball from this company, if I'm going to park at one of the free anchoring spots in San Diego, or if I'm going to end up going to a marina. On my previous episodes, you guys might have seen that there was a whole bunch of bilge water in this container, or in this compartment, right below the motor. I got that bilge water pumped out after separating the oil out of that water. Here is my Perkins 85 horsepower diesel. The story with this thing is that I actually got it running. In the process though, I found that it has a water leak and it has an oil leak. So now that the bilge is free of water, I'm gonna go ahead and spray this down with some cleaner to get this place nice and clean before I start working on the engine. What I'm using for my cleaner is LA's Totally Awesome. This is actually pretty good stuff. It cleans a lot of things. It's a concentrate, so I'm gonna put it in this bottle. I'm gonna put about 1/10 of this stuff into this bottle, diluted with some water that I brought on board in gallon containers. And once these gallon containers are out of water, I'm going to use these to pump the oil out of the engine before I go ahead and take off a lot of the parts that are going to be leaking oil. So for now, it's just diluting this cleaner into this bottle and then go into that bilge to clean stuff up. Alright, step one is just spray the cleaner all over. So far, a lot of that stuff is coming off pretty good with the cleaner. However, this is a relatively tight space. I have to get down there and clean as good as I can. I like a clean working environment, and this diesel generator is getting in my way. I was in contact with the previous owner, and even though I was able to get this generator to rotate, it is not in working condition. So what I'm going to do for now is see if I can pull this generator out. I don't know how heavy it is. Hopefully I can just disconnect it from the mounts. It's sitting on this, what looks like a wooden crate. It's very greasy, but if I can disconnect it, hopefully I'm strong enough to get this thing out of here and lift it up into my cabin. Probably place it in this container over here. There's a hot water tank in here and lots of room where I can potentially fit that generator. But I'd like to get that out of the way so I can get in here and do some deep cleaning before I start work on the Perkins 85. First thing is I'm going to disconnect this hose over here. It runs to some sort of tank. I imagine that's the water cooling system for this diesel. I'm not 100% sure, but that's one of the hard connections to the boat. This thing is going to get disconnected first. Then I'm going to disconnect the wiring. That's the wire that goes up into the generator control switch located over there. Following that is going to be the hot and cold leads that go into the battery. That hose has been disconnected. That was the runoff for the cold water, or for the seawater coolant. There's another line that goes into the inlet. This is what lets the water into the diesel to cool it, but it has a shut-off switch running along here to the generator. I'm going to disconnect that line. That's another hot line that goes to this generator before I can go ahead and start working the wiring. That line has been disconnected from the seawater. I also disconnected the main power. It never had a ground, it just had a hot and cold. These connections were on the top right here, and the control switch was also wired to the hot lead on there. Next step, disconnect the starter hot lead and starter cold lead. Hot lead and cold lead have been disconnected. Now
There are several mounting points on the frame. There's a couple of bolts around the frame. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect these bolts around the frame. I could just disconnect the motor mount, but I want this plate to go with it because it's gonna balance a lot better if I just disconnect the motor mounts. This generator is not gonna sit upright. I think the best solution is to just go ahead and disconnect that plate and see where we go.
For this part, I'm gonna bring in the heavy guns. It's a 13mm socket. One out. This thing is so rotten that by the time I took those screws out, I gave the Jenny a good shake and it's basically loose. Good thing I'm taking it out. In the process, this motor mount basically isn't connected that well either. This thing is quite heavy. I'm gonna have to figure a way to go ahead and lift it out of here. I grabbed some rope from above on deck. I ran the loop portion around this tank and then made myself a handle, tied off the end. Now I have a grab handle. We're gonna see if we can sumo deadlift this thing out of the bilge. Well, it kind of worked. I still have some wiring I have to disconnect, which is not good. Wires are disconnected. That's those down there. I think that was the wires for the control panel. Either way, I'm gonna get this cover back over here. That way it'll give me a platform to walk this generator slowly over to this area. All right, camera fell in our last shot, but there you go. That's how you remove a diesel generator at sea with rope. So much fun. Okay, this is very exciting. I have a lot more workspace. The part I'm not excited about is that platform that was holding the generator is very nasty and oily. The good news, got the platform out, bagged it up into 2 plastic bags. It is nasty. Man, that thing is nasty. Found this thing. Don't know what it is. Probably has something to do with water. All of that's gonna come out, and looking at this wood does not seem to be in good condition, so good chance a lot of this is gonna have to come out. Bad news is I'm out of rubber gloves. Yeah, never mind. 1 glove left. I'm going to use this to drain as much of the oil that's in the engine. Before I drain the oil, I need this gallon. So first, the oil drain is this valve right here. You push it up or pull it up and then push it down, and that drains the oil. There is no dipstick that I found, so what I'm going to do is put this gallon right here, and then you just keep doing that, and you can see pumping oil. Oil is pumped out of the engine. I was able to get 2 gallons total out of this thing. I didn't see any white foamy milky oil, which means that more than likely no salt water got into this thing. So whatever leak must have been above the water line inside of the bilge. And with this platform out, and there's a lot of space down there. This is a lot of space to work on an engine when it comes to boating. I'm very fortunate to have a boat of this size, to have this room so I can work on this engine. Every day that I get on this boat, I pretty much do work that needs to be done, whether it's engine work, cleaning work, demo, and I try to do a little bit of cleanup so that slowly I'm able to declutter this boat. Since I was able to get that generator out and I'm out of gloves, the rest of the day is just going to be taking these tiny nooks and crannies like this and emptying out all of the glass on the inside, taking it out to the garbage. How old do you think this thing is? This is a Stoli peppered flavored vodka. Looks ancient. This thing might be as old as the boat. $10.59. So could be anywhere from 20 to 10 years ago. I don't know. What do you guys think?